Hello and welcome to this Getting Started with Spring video. First, I'll create a new directory for this project, and in there, using the spring init command, initialize a new Spring project. You can do this at start.spring.io via a browser and explore all the available options. Here I'm specifying to use Maven, Java version 8, with just two dependencies to start with, web and timeleaf. And finally give it a name, in this case tutorial.zip. This downloads a bundle for you. Simply extract it and remove the zip file as it's no longer needed. So using the tree command, we can see that we have a skeleton foundation for a Spring Framework project. It's shipped with its own Maven executable and its corresponding pom.xml file. The source directory is the root of what contains all the code and resources. This is the main directory and the focus of building a web application with Java and Spring. All the Java code is developed under the Java directory, using the Java package structure. Here, com, example and tutorial, lives the main method class. The resources directory is where to keep any other artifacts needed for the project. Application.properties is where settings for the Spring project can easily be set. The static directory can keep HTML, CSS or images, for example. Templates is where the timeleaf templates will be kept. I've taken away the test directory for clarity and changed nothing. The application can be started as is using Spring Boot via the Maven command. The first time this is started, a lot of dependencies are downloaded. It gets much quicker the second time round. If successful, you'll see a line stating that Tomcat has started and listening on, in this case, the default port of 8080. Open a browser. Now typically, you may develop on a local machine, therefore you'd need to specify the IP address of localhost plus the port. I'm actually working in a virtual machine and using a browser from my laptop, therefore I need the IP address of the VM plus the port 8080. This looks bad, but it's not. It's good. This means the Spring Boot application is running, I've hit it and it's returned a 404 not found error, which is to be expected as I've not added anything yet. So for this very initial introduction, it's possible to add a basic index.html file in the static directory and Spring Boot will automatically detect it and serve the page. To clarify, all I've done is add this one file in the static directory. Run the application again and refresh your browser to see the page is now served. This is obviously not all too useful, and I've not even begun to scratch the surface yet. So let's take this a step further. I'm going to move the static index.html file into the templates directory. And edit it to be a timeleaf template. This now means a combination of both HTML tags and timeleaf tags can be used. By changing this heading tag to include this timeleaf tag, it will accept a new string value in the form of an attribute called greeting and replace any text defined between the h1 tags with the new text. Timeleaf also has its own attributes such as date and time, so this is our basic template for the home page. Next, I'll create a new package for controllers and add an index controller, which will manage what gets rendered when hitting the root of the website, just a slash with no context path. For clarification, I now have a HTML file that is now a timeleaf template under Templates, and next I'll edit the class Index Controller under Controllers. Time to edit the Index Controller. Define the package and add the required imports, in this case the controller stereotype, request mapping annotation and UI model. Start with the controller annotation and then the public class definition. I'm adding a basic variable of type string called message, and a method using the request mapping annotation, which is where you define the context path of the controller, this being the home page, which returns just the index page. In this case it's just a single slash. It's a public method of type string and accepts a model. In this basic example, I'm just adding a single attribute called greeting with the value of the message variable. And of course returning the index template. Now when the application is ran, the index controller now provides the logic and data attributes of what is rendered when hitting the home URL. One final thing, it's also made really easy to package up Spring Boot applications using the Maven command. This has created a single jar file that can be executed using Java, providing a single executable artifact. Pretty cool. This has been a very basic introduction to getting up and running with Java, the Spring Framework and Spring Boot. There is a ton of content on the internet for learning these topics in more depth, but that said, there is now everything in place to start building out this project into a powerful dynamic web application. Thanks again for watching, good luck and skill up.